Welcome back, Nigeria. You're still watching the TVC Breakfast Show. And before we went on a break, we're about to have a very important conversation about the state of logistics in Nigeria and the economic implication of this with the Professor of Transportation, Mr. Samuel Odewumi. Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
You're very welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Compliment of the season.
Compliments, sir. Thank you so much for taking out the time during this festive period to have this very pertinent discussion with us.
The pleasure is mine.
Now, when goods are delayed for days on days and there's logistic delays, the average Nigerian pays the cost. And in your opinion, based on your expertise, how much of Nigeria's inflation problem is actually a logistics problem?
You are picking on a big elephant in the room because when you now say logistic problem, that's a whole system that we have not been able to get right in the country. But I must admit first that since the last time I was on TVC for this same topic on your sister program, we have come a long way. That was the time when I coined the term that corruption and everything is doing catwalking naked on Apapa Road. But with people who kept at it, like Adekoya, I say to the Mr. Governor, we have moved, and I must recognize that because you don't judge a system by the height which they attain only, but also from the depth where they started from. I must confess that, so large equipment. Now, direct to your question on, let me say this, that what we have generally as logistic issues in this country, please give me a moment. I have to unhinge my phone.
That's okay, sir.
We'll have to come into the studio and speak with
absolutely. He said that things have improved, Mr. Showmi, since the last time he spoke to us.
Yes, things have improved, but not enough. I mean, we have to. There was a time you can't go through Apapa. That's a fact. We all know that. You can get stuck there from morning till evening. Yesterday, people can move things around easily. But the fact of the matter is we've not finally solved the problem, which is we need to invest more in our rail transportation. You can imagine the rail running down to Apapa, from Apapa down to other parts of the country will ease the burden many Lagosians particularly are facing on road issues. If you look at the number of accidents on our road, if you look at the toll, the cost to the nation in terms of loss of lives as a result of disarticulated vehicles accident or causing the accident, you begin to realize that, look, we need to do a little bit more. Yes, we may not necessarily have the whole resources now. Yes, we are working on it, but it's still work in progress, but we need to do more.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shomi. Mr. Odewumi, are you with us? Welcome back. We missed you.
Yeah, I'm back.
You were saying, so that things have improved greatly, but there were some still issues and matters arising.
Yes. As I said, I'm outside my base. I'm in the hotel room. They are just trying to call in. So now, generally speaking, in Lagos, as the esophagus, that is the truth of Nigeria economy. You are talking around 30% of the costs going to logistics overhead because we are not optimal about it. And what are the remain? And this particular season that we are picking on it, you now have that freight demand will be in high volume. People demand things for Christmas, and you have inadequate waiting bay, and the stop system that was developed that we thought will be the silver bullet. Nigeria is beginning to happen to it, and the port management, now talking of courses, rather than perfect that system, remove the Nigerian factor because it is computerized, but it is human driven. Once people get to the back end and tweak with the pin system in the computer, definitely corruption sets in and people tend to jump all those queues. So you have all these issues that are the major causes of the logistics nightmare that we normally have or that we are beginning to have again on the port, to the extent that people are now trying to throw Lagos under the bus that, well, let's take the freight to other part of the country. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is the right of every importer to determine where they want to pick their freight. It's not a laissez-faire. I will determine where I want to pick my freight. So everything must be done logistically to make that Apapa corridor that is taking, because that's the economy of the country. It's handling more than 80 to 90% of the domestic freight. If you talk of oil, One is handling a lot of oil for export, and now that Dangote is doing that at this same logistic corridor, Lagos has also become the central. And remember, the Lekki deep sea port is along the east of Lagos too. So I think it is a huge cost, and as far as the costs is concerned, is the issues of the demand increase, freight increase of the winter season, then of course the bay that are not available, then we have indiscipline on the road. Roads are narrowed by markets, people, the Okada, the Korope, the Keke Mawas, all these narrow the efficiency of the road. So that's talking of the causes.
Now, looking at Lagos State, recently introducing 2,000 CNG powered trucks, as part of its green logistics drive, aiming at cutting fuel cost, emission, and downtime. I'm wondering how you consider transformative, this initiative would be for transport logistics in Lagos, and the ripple effects it would have, consider having Apapa at the back of your mind on the supply chain, especially with the prices of fuel and that of forex.
Please, pardon, I didn't hear you well.
Yeah, can you hear me, Mr. Odewumi? Can you hear me clearly?
Kindly repeat the question.
Great. I'm talking about Lagos State introducing 2,000 CNG powered trucks as part of its green logistics drive to cut fuel cost, emission, and downtime. And I'm wondering how impactful this would be, for the logistics, precisely Apapa, ports in Lagos, and what ripple effect it would have on the national supply chain, looking at the price of fuel and that of forex.
It's like thinking outside the box. For those who love sustainability issues, that is environmental friendliness, emission gases, to make Lagos a lot friendlier. It's a new thinking. And Dangote started it, and it's working. And also it's reducing fuel demand. That is fossil fuel demand. That those trucks will have been using. And let me say this categorically, that if you solve Lagos logistics nightmare, you are not solving for a state, you are solving for a system. That is what people don't know. So what Lagos is doing is going to impact heavily, because tell me other part of the country having that does not mainly or largely come from Apapa, Tinkan, or the now Lekki Deep Sea Port. So definitely the CNG introduction is one of the master stroke. And I normally say this, that if somebody has given attention to transportation, Governor Sanwo-Olu, in his team agenda, the first thing is transportation and traffic management. So he has given due thought to that, and I support fully. Technically, it will help, and environmentally, is a bull-eye shot, and I believe that with time we will see the long-term impact on the logistics corridors where they are introduced.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very clear about the point you're making in relation to the issue of Lagos State in relation to the environmental impact of the 2,000 CNG power trucks, which would ensure cleaner air. But what do you think we need to do to take away the ones actually causing the pollution? Because you see some trucks in the night, you can't even see their rear lights, no rear light, nothing, and exhaust fumes coming out. What do you think we need to do to improve the situation, not only in Lagos, but for the rest of the country, to ensure that we have cleaner transportation with a focus on the ones with high emission pollution?
We have recognized the problem as part of the causes that I must mention is the issue of the condition of the vehicles, because due to our economy, most of the vehicles you see on the road, the heavy-duty trucks, they are second-hand. They are not, except Dangote or now Lagos State government, that can purchase brand-new vehicles. Most of these vehicles are the ones that are even being decommissioned in Europe, in Americas, or in Asia, because the emission standard cannot be met by those vehicles. So, and it's not for want of trying. The FRC, some time ago, I remember I was invited for a program for test emission and all that. But you see, because of economic factors, because when there is a clash in econometrics and environmental sustainability, econometrics take over. Because those who want to import vehicle could not import until now. And that is why the Lagos State innovation is going to make the impact. It's going to create the difference, because the vehicles are new and they are almost zero emission. So it's going to make a great impact for Lagos. And I believe, because Lagos is always in the vanguard, is in the forefront, is in the frontier of transportation innovation in the country. For those of us in the industry, we always say that it will also impact other states. They will look at what Lagos has done. Of course, we now see many state governments emulating what Lagos State has done. So for us, whenever Lagos leads in anything transportation, look at LASMA, LOMA, these are things that has cascaded through the state. So I'm expecting the impact is not just what Lagos has done, but it also creates a domino effect in other state government, because it's only these people or state government. If in other areas, in other countries, they encourage people to acquire new vehicle by allowing them access to discounted loans. Because it will pay the system. Because also most of the reason for the grid law is breakdown truck for a vehicle that is not that is not properly latched. This thing, the container falling today, another one getting breakdown, reversing at $10, creating all sorts of bedlam in the city. So we believe that, given that introduction and given that many states are likely to have buy-in, and given that with improving economy, private investors will be able to buy into this CNG, although the cost might be a bit high now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Professor Odewumi. Honestly, you're enlightening me right now. But we know that Lagos is one of Nigeria's economic shock absorbers, if you will. And when there's transport delays there, whether it's an Apapa gridlock or fuel truck delays, it affects the whole country. It affects all of us. And sometimes it feels as though Lagos is carrying on more national logistics responsibility that its infrastructure was originally designed for. Now, I know that the Nigerian Ports Authority is considering shifting some of its cargo activity and some of its weight to ports, to places like Warri. In your opinion, as a professor of transportation, what is a smart and strategic logistics decentralization strategy that we can adopt to take some of this weight off of our papa?
Well, the first thing we should do is to go back and fix our call-up system, A2. The system came in at the right time, it was programmed and it worked. But after some time, it's getting degraded. Secondly, we have to work on parking bay. For me, we have to have 2 or 3 layers of parking bay. The first one should be before entry into Lagos at all, like Ogere. I expect that there should be an expanse of land at Ogere, where, although they are there now, but it is not formal, it's not organized. For me, I expect hotels to be built, security posts, health center, so that Ogere becomes the first parking bay where drivers who have no reason to be in Lagos will not enter Lagos, and you don't see them parking all over the state. Because I repeat, solution for Lagos is solution for the country. So if you are coming from anywhere, first of all, your first waiting point will be at Ogere. And they will not call you into the bay in Lagos, the waiting bay, close to Apapa, as the case may be. So we really need to work on that. But that system is being overwritten or corrupted by people who want to take a shunt or wants to do a trial run. Okay, if I enter, I will be able to pick something ahead of others. The typical mentality of jumping your queue. So get your smart call-up system working again, remove the corruption in the system, then all those unnecessary charges on the road, then remove the toll gates that some local government, I won't call them miscreants, the so-called maritime union workers. Yeah. If you know how much they collect on the trucks as they are approaching the port. So we have to work on that to remove that corruption, and that's part of the system that we can do to improve that situation.
That's right. Very quickly, because of our time, experts have actually been arguing that road transport alone cannot, resolve this, problem, and it probably cannot sustain Nigeria's logistics chain, which they started off, when we started this conversation. They are also advocating the utilization of rail and waterways, which actually remain underutilized. So the combination of this, for policy, in new policy direction, how do you think this will help in unlocking efficient transport logistics in Nigeria? Talking about road, rail, and even inland waterway.
Spot on. Besides the issue of the call-up, besides the issue of parking bay, shifts from road to rail all over the world now is a major concern. And you will remember Okwefa was having dialogue with TPMT. I used to mix that acronym in order to, and they are carrying a lot now. That is rail, but we could do a lot more, and we can move a whole lot of our empty containers along the waterway. So that is the thing we should be considering. Then the new law of local government, state government, unions, just putting sticks across the road, constituting their own toll gate collecting point. I think it's being addressed for now. So then too, more, we have listed so many, is the infrastructural issues. Because the geometry of our road, the condition of even of our road, there are serious challenges to maneuverability of even the land transport system. So, and we want to say that our low-hanging fruit is to quickly finish the even the narrow gauge. And anytime we are discussing solution to Nigerian problem, our focus, we already fixated on the federal. But I challenge the Southwest, that is the swagger, the Southwest agenda. There's a group, economic group in the Southwest. They should do something about the narrow gauge network, like Plateau is doing, to ensure that they have minimal rail.
Thank you.
So that we can evacuate a lot.
Absolutely.
Not just the standard gauge. The standard gauge is designed.
Professor Odewumi, we can go on all day. I tell you, if you run for Minister of Transportation, Professor, I would definitely vote for you. Thank you for transporting and transmuting all this information with us here today. Thank you so much, Professor.